I think the hardest part of self-improvement is changing your environment. Just like how there's a huge amount of resistance to going outside because you always think to yourself, oh, it's going to be a waste of time or whatever. It's always good for you to go outside because you get some vitamin D. It's like kind of pseudo meditation and you get to see other people if you go outside where there's other people. But right now I'm in a forest, so generally speaking, I'm not going to come across a lot of people, but that's besides the point. I think the hardest part is changing your environment, specifically the connections you make with people. It is so simple to clean up your desk, to throw away objects that you don't need, to become minimalistic, to get rid of any distractions on your desk, to have a prison cell environment at your work desk. But that's easy because those are inanimate objects. They don't have any feelings. You have feelings, and so you get rid of them and you feel good, and you are not concerned with the feelings of the objects when you, throw them away because you realize, it's time for me to change my life around and I need to clean up my room. They have no feelings. They're not going to get offended if you throw them away or put them away or hide them in a closet or whatever. You know what does have feelings? Other people, other humans. This is also why, even though connections with others, our relationships are so important and can do so much good for us, they are also the single biggest reason as to why we are being held back, as to why we are not chasing our dreams. It's because we're afraid of being judged. It would be so easy to cut people off that are bad for you if they were just mean people, like evil people, if they were demons, cockroaches, like in that episode of Black Mirror where they created the ultimate soldiers with no feelings that would just kill. And the way they did that is by implanting a chip into their brain that they agreed to, that when it's implanted, they would forget the fact that it's implanted, because if they forget that it's implanted, that's how it works. If they remember that it's implanted, it wouldn't work. And what it does is it changes the enemy that the military orders them to kill to look like monsters, hence cockroaches. And I know that's kind of like a dark concept, but the reality is it would be so much easier if that was the case. It would be so much easier to cut people off. The thing is, people that are bad for you, they appear like regular humans. They just appear like regular dudes that are kind of nice. They go outside and party, they have fun and shit, they drink, they have fun and shit. They're bad for you. And they're bad for you. Otherwise you wouldn't be contemplating it. It's just hard for you to cut them off. Now that's if you're on the good end. If you're lucky enough to have people that just seem like happy people and hide themselves as normal people, and then that's what they look like. I, for example, got, you could say, either lucky or unlucky. Unlucky because it was a particularly shitty connection, and lucky because it made it very obvious that I had to get rid of them. A hater, an absolute pathetic human being, parties, does drugs, all that. He thinks he's so funny, making jokes at other people's expense always, and acting like a stupid idiot, socially unacceptable things. That's a different kind of not caring what people think about you. That's the ultimate hedonist approach to life. That is, if everything you do relates to pleasure, you're chasing pleasures. That's what this person is like. Leo. These kinds of people are the worst kinds of people. They don't work out, they don't do anything positive for themselves, and they just try to drag you down. And then when you do eventually cut them off and you give them the decency of, instead of completely blocking them out of your life, which is the best way to do this, like just raw dog, cut off every single method of them contacting you ever. Particularly easy as well if you live in a different country than these people, or in a different city, or very far away. That's the easiest option. If you wanna be a nice guy, you can do the thing where you send a paragraph explaining why you're cutting off contact, and then if they react like this, then at least you're sure 100% that this was the correct decision, and you're gonna look back at all of the times you coped and said to yourself, no, you know what, it's fine, I don't meet them that often, every once in a while. You're just gonna be better off if you just cut them off faster. So do that. People are generally the hardest part. You know why? Because they're also the hardest thing to gain. Because evolutionarily speaking, it has no advantage, there's no merit to us to assume good things in other people or other things. That's why the unknown to us is scary instead of, neutral. The unknown is always scary to us because it has helped us survive longer and better in most cases, which is all you needed, to be afraid. That's why making friends is so hard. And I recommend to make friends, to join clubs, because you need to find common ground. You need to basically start a relationship off with a person that you've never met before in a club, so that you minimize the amount of things that are unknown. The more a club is something specific, the better as well. So for example, if you go to the gym, people go there to work out, but there's still so many unknowns because people can go to the gym for many other reasons, even though it's a productive thing. Better so is people that do a martial art. And even better than just do a martial art is if it's a martial art, you with the philosophy of. So for example, for me, it's jiu-jitsu. I know that when I go to jiu-jitsu, and the other people know that when they go to jiu-jitsu, they have family at that gym. We're all so connected because it's such a niche thing to do. And I love the philosophy. And so anyone else that would like to do jiu-jitsu and likes the philosophy of jiu-jitsu automatically gets rid of so many variables in the interaction, you understand? And so the level of base connection when you even meet the person in the first place is already so much tighter. And then it makes making friends so much easier. So join clubs. cut people off. I understand it's the hardest thing to do, but I'm telling you, it is the single highest ROI you could possibly, sorry, I ate an apple. The single highest ROI you could possibly ever get. Cutting bad people off. Because imagine this, you ask yourself, you're doing all of these positive things for you. You're reading, you're meditating, you're trying to work on an online business, but for some reason you're not making progress. And the reason you're not making progress is because you're friends with fucking losers that tell you to go do parties and make you insecure about what you're doing. And so it takes you longer to take action on the knowledge you learn. How do you expect to make progress if your foot is slamming down the accelerator and your other foot is still on the brake? You're not gonna make any progress. Lift your foot off of the brake, cut the bad people out, and you'll see how, without changing how much you press the accelerator at all, you will start making so much more progress so much faster. Then you can start worrying about pressing the accelerator harder, shifting up. Remember, your mental health is extremely important. And connections with other people, your environment, that is 80% of your mental. 20% of your mental is when you're alone thinking to yourself. 80% is what has to do with other people. Because we're social animals. Can't deny that. Humans are social animals. Anyway, I believe in you. Find more people in your circle that you know are good, and if you don't know any people that are good, join clubs, find people that are good, work on yourself, find people that are good, and then as you progress in life, try to help those people out. But remember, it is not your responsibility to save people. It just straight up isn't. Even though you have no enemies, not everyone is necessarily your ally. The ones you choose to be your allies are the ones you try to help out. If they don't want to be saved, you make more progress, you cut those people out, and you keep going like that, and so on. Remember, take your foot off of the brake, then you can worry about shifting up and accelerating. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Look at that view though. Sheesh. Nice.